What's up, YouTube? So I decided to dismantle my entire art studio and take out a whole bunch of supplies. So I have crayons, markers, colored pencils, paint, you name it, I got it out. But I only took it out if it was in the color brown. Why, you ask? Because today, I'm going to be making a picture. Using all my brown art supplies. That's correct. That's what I'm doing today. So I just moved everything off screen out of the way so you can kind of see it, but it's all kind of layered on top of each other because I have a lot of brown art supplies. And for the sake of this video and my sanity, I decided to keep out any oil pastels or chalk pastels because, well, I only have the Artist Loft brand and they're pretty cheap and not the best. And yeah, I don't really like them, so I just didn't, I cheated and just didn't want to use them. But yeah, this challenge was originally made by drawingwiffwaffles. I believe, at least she was the first person that I saw do it. She has a ton of videos out with, like, using her orange, pink, red, purple, blue. Like, she has a bunch of colors that she's done. And I recently saw Casey Golden tried this challenge too. She used all her pink art supplies. Not gonna lie, Casey, thought you're gonna start with the color green. I don't know, I think I heard somewhere you like sap green or something? Oh, wait, maybe it was purple. Purple's your favorite color, right? I'm definitely mixing up people here, aren't I? Yeah, so if you guys are sick of my humor, I should probably start talking about what I'm actually doing. So, for this video, I was thinking about what color I should start with, and haven't actually seen anyone do the color brown. Someone might have. I'm sure someone has. I've seen a lot of people do this challenge, but I haven't seen brown yet, and I thought that might be an interesting color to start out with. And yeah, brown isn't my favorite color, but I figured there's a lot of things I could do with it. So that's what I picked, and the first thoughts I had when I thought of the color brown were forest, and then chocolate. And then skin tones. Once I pulled out all of these different supplies I have a lot of different colored skin tones. But I wasn't really sure how to combine all of them, so I doodled around my sketchbook to come up with a few different ideas, and eventually came up with this idea of this mythical creature. It's called a faun, like F-A-U-N. Or at least that's what I found from Google. If Google's wrong, whoops. Oh well, the internet lies sometimes. But yeah, I just thought of this little like faun character guy just chilling out on a stump, and he's gonna be eating a bunch of assorted chocolates because that's a way to add in a lot of different browns, right? But I thought this was an interesting idea. I also used a lot of different colored pencils in the beginning to just get down the sketch shape and figure out what sort of brown tones I wanted where. So I knew I wanted his skin tone to be a little bit lighter. Oh, and to be clear, this is definitely a guy. He just has a little bit more of a less athletic looking chest. That's the most appropriate way I can say that. So yeah, I just was using colored pencils to figure out the general tones. So I wanted him to have a light skin tone, which I definitely butchered a little bit, but it turns out better in the end. It just took a little while to fix. And I knew I wanted his legs to be nice and furry and like a nice dark chocolatey brown tone. And the stump, of course, could be sort of whatever color, so it was just some kind of natural wood, and I tested a lot of supplies on that stump because I knew it couldn't really get messed up. And yeah, I probably should have been testing these supplies off on a different piece of paper because that's the smart way to do things, but we didn't come to my channel for intelligence, did we? I certainly hope not. But yeah, I also thought the little box of chocolates was just, it's a cute little detail, but it also let me add in a lot of different dark brown colors that I didn't really know where else to put. Kind of like these crayons. The crayons added a nice texture onto the piece with like the stump part, but not much else, and I highly regret using the crayons on the inside of the box for the box of chocolates because they don't mix well with other materials like water-based markers. Yeah, I should have thought about that, but oh well, I didn't. I figured it out later, and it was a sad time. It's fine. It all worked out. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this challenge. It also let me use a lot of materials that, although I normally pick out a material to use like markers or colored pencils, I don't often use them together, which is strange because I really like a lot of different mediums. So this challenge let me incorporate all of the different sort of materials that I use in my art and it was fun to see what worked together and what didn't, and what really didn't. Like, oil and water don't go well together, but I tried to make it work anyway. It really turned out better than I thought it would. It was a learning experience. But yeah, I'm now just adding in some more color to his legs. I jump around this piece a lot. I focused a lot on the stump for a part, and then the chocolate box for a part. And then I started with his legs, and yeah, I eventually move off of those. Tried to do the skin and fix it, and I jumped around a lot. It got to a point where it was sort of hard to figure out what to put everywhere. Oh, if you didn't see that, I also found a stick within all of my art supplies. Yeah, it was actually in with my oil pastels. I have this stick because I used to volunteer at a summer camp, and this adorable little 8-year-old girl gave me a stick one day, and I apparently kept it and have refused to give it up, and it now lives in my art supplies. So yeah, shout out to that brown stick. I'm gonna count it as a brown art supply. It was inspiration for the stump. Yeah, I could go with that. So soon you will see, once I get through some more of these colored pencils, that the picture might change a little bit. And yeah, that's because my camera, this is about 2 hours into working on this, it decided, oh, oops, my battery doesn't want to work anymore. So yeah, it died. But that's okay. It gave me some time to figure out where to put all these paints and set them up. And I tried to set up all of the different art mediums to be worked on sort of simultaneously. So a lot of colored pencils I did first, and some of the crayons, and a lot of markers were next. And I wanted to make sure the paints and sort of wet mediums would be last. I think this also just helped me figure out what to put where, and I thought it was easier to layer because I normally use pencil before I use marker. So I thought it was sort of a good idea, and it worked well for the most part. There are a few things I would change for the next time. But whenever I was looking at the different paint colors, I just really liked this one light tan color, and I knew I wanted to put it as like the circle behind this character because this brown isn't anywhere else in this piece. So I thought it added that extra sort of dimension. And originally it was just going to be a circle behind him to just sort of change up the character, give it a little bit more interesting contrast. And, well, then I was looking at it more, and it started to remind me of the moon. And I think that added to this, like, mystical vibe I was sort of thinking of with this piece. So that's how I decided to use a lot of the other paints in this, was to just make that circle in the background the moon. And I think it just gives this background a little bit more depth than it just being some random circle, which I do like random circles, but it just adds that little extra something. And here I'm using my Sakura Koi watercolor pan set. These things are amazing. They actually worked well over almost every single other medium that I used in this piece. And especially over the acrylic paint in the background, which it's just craft paint, but it just added some extra detail and depth, and it also worked well over the, like, fur parts, I guess. Yeah, they're fur. His furry legs, right? It's fur. So it worked really well over all of that, and it's like marker, colored pencil, some crayon, there's a bunch of different things. So I was very impressed with this medium. And as you can see, I'm just trying to add in some more depth into the moon part of the background. And yeah, this is getting to the point of the voiceover where I'm not entirely sure what else to talk about with this piece, because I think I've said everything I want to say. Nope, that's not true. His face, I don't know why I feel like sharing this, but his face, for whatever reason, I decided it was sort of inspired by Seinfeld. Yeah, I know it doesn't look like Seinfeld, like George Seinfeld, I'm aware, but it was about the receding hairline is specifically what I was inspired by. So that's what I wanted to use for this piece, and I think it just makes this character look a little bit more adorable. Maybe he's like a young Seinfeld, or like a distant cousin or something, and he's just hanging out and relaxing. And I know his skin tone looks a little off, like, why is his chest so much lighter than his face? Well, he's obviously in the forest relaxing, just hanging out, eating some chocolate in the moonlight. So maybe during the day he wears t-shirts and he has a t-shirt tan line. Because, he can't always just have his chest and belly out. That's not professional. So yeah, that's my excuse for why the skin tone looks the way it does. Oh, and these mediums, they got all over my desk and a little bit all over this paper in places I didn't want them to be. But yeah, it's a hazard I wasn't expecting, and we'll learn more for next time. And we'll also buy some more things to clean up my desk with, since I was smart and own a white desk. It's definitely helpful for art. And I'm using the only Faber-Castell gelato that I have for the ground because it was a gray-brown tone. Until making this video, I had no idea how many different kinds of browns there were. There's orangey browns, bluish browns, grayish browns. There's a lot, and it was just sort of fun to figure out how to break up all of these colors to give them their own sort of space in this piece, but also not make them look completely out of place wherever they were put. So I really like these gelatos also because they blend out with water, and they work really well with other watercolors, even these cheapo Artist Loft $5 pans, which are actually kind of impressive. They're not the best, but they're all right. They're a good starter test set. I guess good is kind of a generous term for it, but it works. Like, if you want to try out watercolors, they're not the worst thing to start with. So I'm almost done with this piece, and I really enjoyed doing this. I spent probably over 3 hours working on this, and that's just working on it. That doesn't include the sketching I did beforehand to figure out my idea and plan for this. So it was probably a good 4 or 5 hours put into this piece, and I'm very, very proud of how it turns out. And honestly, as sort of stressed out as I was doing this, and even though it took a lot of time, I really enjoyed making this, and I cannot wait to do this with another set of colors. And I started with brown because I thought that was one of the least number of art supply colors that I had, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I have over 100 brown colored art supplies. And to be clear, these are supplies collected over many, many, many years. Like, there are some supplies I've owned for 20 years. So this is just what I've collected so far, and some things are kind of pretty old, but they work pretty well for the most part. So yeah, even if I only had 20 supplies, I think this would still be a challenge, and it's really fun to figure out how to get everything to work well together. So I'm excited for the next one that I get to do. Not entirely sure what color I want to do next. If you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, because I really don't know what to pick. I like the idea of green or blue, maybe pink, maybe metallic. I don't know. Let me know your plans in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below of what you would like to see, because this is a fun challenge, so I'm okay with just about any color. So the last thing I wanted to add to this piece, just to add a little more depth, because I thought it was a little boring at the top, I just had a little tree in the background, and it really was just supposed to add some extra visual contrast, but it gives the whole piece this extra sort of spooky Halloween vibe, and I think it's nice since we're going to that back to school fall season. It works out pretty well to sort of prepare for that season. If, you're really excited about fall, yay. If not, well, sorry. Time keeps moving even if we don't want it to. That was kind of lame. That was kind of sad. Sorry. Well, I'm just about done working on this piece, so I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this. Whatever color you want to see next, let me know in the comments below. Check out Casey's video and Drawing with Waffles videos also. There's also a bunch of other people who have made these videos. Check theirs out. They're really fun to watch, and if you want to, try out this challenge yourself, because it's a lot of fun figuring out how to get all of your different colored materials to work well together. So here's all of my materials that I now have to clean up and put away, and that's what I'll be doing next. So thanks so much for watching my video, guys. I hope to see you in the next one. Have an awesome day. See ya! Want to to see more shenanigans? Then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Oh, you want to see more shenanigans like right now? Then check out these suggestions on your screen or head on over to my Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check back soon for some more shenanigans. Bye!